All right. Hello and welcome back, everybody. This is Ace. In the previous video or in the previous episode, we found some issues that remain to be fixed. One of them was I said that I should probably give the cats who are using bear form pre-level 20 because they don't have a cat form yet. I said I should probably give them taunt in a similar fashion to the warrior DPS and the paladin DPS and probably the shaman to some extent. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but I wanted to give them growl or taunt so they can peel off for squishies, and who are squishies or fragile classes. Well, your priest, your healer, your whomever, right? So things of that nature. The idea is that even though they're not a tank themselves, if whomever it is they're attacking is going after a fragile class, then I think it is good practice for them to actually help contribute to peeling off of the healers and the mages and the warlocks and that sort of thing. So if they get the opportunity, then they will taunt, and then the tank later on, when he gets a chance, he's going to taunt off of the off tank, let's say. If in this situation we can consider that they took the role of an off tank. So that's sort of what I'm looking to do with all of these classes that can tank, right? So it's not just the druid in the situation, but the warrior, the paladin, maybe the melee shaman. I'm not sure about him because he doesn't have a taunt, so it's kind of, I guess I didn't give him any off taunting situation because well, I would get into the situation where I have to calculate if by earth shocking he actually would pull aggro off of the target. So yeah, it's kind of I suppose I can do it. It's rather debatable. I guess we'll see more also at higher level. So we'll test more and we'll see more combinations and more situations. But like I told you from the very beginning of this series, is that I want them to do everything that's in their arsenal, to use fully all their spells and to really try to make the most out of their class, even though it's not, let's say, efficient from the point of view of a DPS. Are you doing the most DPS possible? Well, no, because you're preoccupied with taunting and things of that nature. However, are you doing everything that you can to ensure that you can win the encounter? Probably, right? So that's kind of the goal. So even though they're missing out on DPS, they're consuming resources and time and global cooldowns on things that don't necessarily do what their class advertises to do. Well, that's incorrect, because they do what their class advertises to do. But rather what popular expectations would be of that certain class, right? Or that certain role. And again, my philosophy is that they should help contribute. One second. We did we look at the gold? But I see we made about just the same amount of gold as last time. So at least that part is consistent, right? Reset items. We're gonna keep track of the money because I want to know what the hiring cost should be. But we made just about the same amount of money from the second Shadowfang keep as we did in the first one. So that is good news. I guess we don't really need to run the thing 3 times, or once is enough, because I need a ballpark. I don't really have to know with statistical precision, let's say. So it's good enough. So I gave the cats who are bears at pre-level 20 a taunt to peel for squishies. Another problem was with the com toggle and com stay. When the companions are on com toggle and I would press com stay, they wouldn't actually stay. It was something strange. I fixed that one as well. And also we had another issue with the warrior. He was not rage pulling correctly, even though I realized just now that cleave is actually learned at level 20. So we ran Shadowfang Keep at level 18, and at level 18 he doesn't have cleave, and his damage was sort of low. And to be honest, it's kind of to be expected, because I played warrior a lot in vanilla, in TPC, and it's always that way. Like, for a warrior, the most important thing is your weapon, and because the companions randomize within 10 levels and you can get whatever weapon, the results depend. But if you were to give a warrior, and we have seen that in practice in our previous dungeons, that when one of the companions will pick up a weapon that significantly increases their DPS, like a blue weapon on their level is absolutely huge and monumental, and when they get one of those, their damage, yeah, quite visibly increases and scales. But I did do, let's say, I looked over the pulling logic. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when should they use things like heroic strike and cleave? And I realized in the previous run that it was kind of an issue, because heroic strike and cleave, they require different amounts of rage. Cleave requires like 20 and heroic requires 15, and what is possible, what would have happened, but they didn't have cleave then. But what was possible is that they could be somewhere between 15 and, let's say, 19 rage, and they would use heroic strike instead of cleave, and they wouldn't pull until they had enough for cleave. And it's actually quite significant, because cleave, what it does, it generates 2 attacks, right, on the main target and on a secondary target that chains in 5 yards of the primary target. So 2 attacks are absolutely huge, and because, let's say, the vast majority of the time we are fighting more than 2 mobs, 2 or 2 plus, right? It's very rare that we only fight 1. So most of the situations are at least multi-target, if not AoE situations, during which, yeah, 2 attacks, if you have a giant 2-handed weapon, and they do, because theoretically, at least, well, I haven't, let's say, calculated myself. I'm not really a calculating guy, but from what I've researched on this topic, 2-handed weapons are better than, say, dual wield, even though even with dual wield I think you can do it from level 20 or something like that. The point is that, or the advantage, let's say, of 2-handed weapons being the fact that they don't require as much hit chance, right? And because things tend to die quite easily, and because you have cleave, and because you have what's the AoE thingy poopy called? I forgot. Sweeping strikes. Because you have these things, actually it turns out that 2-handed weapons are quite good for AoE situations and for burst damage situations. So that's why they're using that. We will test again, but what I did was I created, like I said, 3 stages of let's say, rage pooling. And when are they using this? Well, for various abilities, such as when they're determining if they should use heroic strike and cleave, which is kind of where we started with this train of thought. And the way I did it, and we'll test to see if it works or if it's even a good idea, but believe me, this is something that baked my noodle for a very long time, both on vanilla and even when playing myself, not just coding the companions. It's always something that it's never been quite clear to me. Something that maybe it was kind of interpretable, let's say. But nonetheless, I did it in 3 stages, and I'm basically accumulating all the costs of the spells in 3 stages. In stage number 1, I'm looking at Bloodthirst, Mortal Strike, Shield Slam, and the companions will look at the cost of these spells dynamically. They'll calculate it each time to see, well, it depends on their talents, you know, because the cost can change, whatever. So they'll look at the cost and they'll keep adding, right? They keep adding the cost. So it's Bloodthirst, Mortal Strike, Shield Slam, or if they don't have any of those, they still look at Sunder Armor only when fighting a boss, right? So what's the idea? Well, when you're fighting a boss, let's say you're at level 18 and you have nothing else but Sunder and Heroic Strike. Normally, if you're just fighting normal creatures, we've even touched a little bit on the subject, is a little bit debatable and arguable and all of this, because according to the Fight Club Discord community, it is a good idea to use Sunder Armor even when you're leveling, even against normal creatures, so long as they have armor, up until something like 50% HP, and then you use Heroic Strike. What's the idea behind that? Is that Sundering reduces armor, which increases your physical damage, or anybody's physical damage against the target multiplicatively, if I can pronounce that. And that, you know, when you compare it, and you can, I guess this community has calculated more in depth. So when they calculated this, they came to the conclusion that because you increase your damage multiplicatively, your auto attacks benefit a lot more. So your damage overall increases from your auto attacks much more than it would have by doing heroic strikes. And there are multiple facets to this issue. One of them is because when you heroic strike, you actually don't gain any rage when you from the auto attack, which is kind of why, not kind of, but really why this spell is considered a range dumping spell, right? So heroic strike and cleave are both considered range dumping because they proc off of your next auto attack, and when that happens, you don't generate any rage as a consequence. Whereas if you were to sunder, then your auto attack damage would increase by a factor, and you would still generate rage, which overall would help you just increase your damage. So, I mean, don't take my word on it, you can research this yourself. But there's another part to this, because well, this, let's say, calculation, even if it is true, this is true when you're fighting solo. But here with the companions, you're never fighting solo. There's no situation with a companion. Well, whatever. I don't care about the exceptions. But generally speaking, there's no situation with the companions when we're talking about the solo situation, because as soon as you have a companion, you're at least two people in a group. Whether or not you're a physical damage dealer or not, I don't know, right? But if you have any kind of tank, all tanks deal physical damage. Even a paladin, even a shaman, they have a magic component, but they have a giant physical damage. If you look at the DPS meter, it's like a significant proportion, at least 40 to 50%, if not more. And it's also their most consistent damage dealing method, right? Auto attacking. If they run out of mana, whatever, right? So it's very, very beneficial. But what have I observed, and what is pretty obvious that happens, is that because you're at least two people in the group, things tend to die very quickly. If you look at the well, I don't remember too clearly because it's been years since I looked at the Fight Club Discord, but their idea was that you should be sundering until 50%. Why 50%? Where did they put 50% of the target's health? Where did they put that number out of? Well, it's kind of just an estimation, kind of a suggestion, kind of a good practice. But yeah, that was in a solo situation. When you're in a duo situation, obviously there's going to be much more damage going out, and it's really hard to say. Like, it's hard to say. Well, it's not that it's hard to say, because it's not difficult for me to just pull out a number out of my ass and just say, well, do it at until 75%. Like, it's not like I cannot do this. It's all very debatable. But nonetheless, ultimately, because targets die too quickly, I surmise that maybe it's not so important that they sunder armor. Because what happens, well, most of the time, if you're in AoE situations, you can just cleave and whirlwind, and you actually be killing things a little bit faster. And when you're in a single situation and you're talking about you have to fight one mob and you're at least 2 people in a group, obviously that mob is going to die very quickly. So you should have no issues of that nature, unless you're fighting bosses. If you're fighting bosses, then okay, you should probably sunder, because bosses do in fact take maybe at least 30 seconds to kill or something like that, from my anecdotal experience testing things so far. So in stage 1, they look at, like I said, the talents, the talented spells: Bloodthirst, Mortal Strike, Shield Slam. And if they don't have those, then they look at Sounder Armor, only against when fighting bosses. They look at the cost of these spells, right? Just one of them. I don't care. I'm not adding all of them, just one of them. One of them is kind of the representative of stage 1. So they take the cost of that, and then they go to stage 2 where I put Whirlwind. They take the cost of that, and then they go to stage 3 where they add up the cost of Cleave. And I realize now that it should be Cleave if he has Cleave, right? Hold on, let me fix this. Yeah, there you go. Now let me fix this live, because yeah, you could be pre-level 20, you might not have Cleave. So they should add up that cost. So what does that look like exactly? Well, let's say you have something like Bloodthirst, which is what, 30 rage or something, then Whirlwind, which is 25, so that you have 55, and then depending on Cleave or Heroic Strike, let's say Cleave, which is 20, right? So that cost goes now to 75, and the idea is you should not use, let's say, Heroic Strike, because it kind of depends on what spells. Not all spells need this logic, but specifically dump spells, right? So they're not gonna Cleave or Heroic Strike up until they have at least 75 rage. And this may sound good in theory, but the problem is I pondered this very topic for many years, not just for writing the logic of the companions, but just in general. Even when playing myself and deciding how to do things. And even here things are again debatable. Everything is debatable, isn't it? Because what's the issue? Let's say it works just fine in a small group or even a full group if you're doing some dungeon type of situation, but where you start to get into issues is in raids. If you have like a lot of damage and a lot of buffs and a lot of rage generated, then if you are waiting until 75 to rage dump, that is a very long time. Well, it's not about it's a very long time, because you generate rage very quickly, but from the 75 point to the 100th point, it's like one auto attack. Literally, one bloody auto attack would cause you to go like over cap, right? You'd be generating more rage than is possible. That's the problem. And it's kind of a reverse problem, because you see, I spend so much time and effort to make sure that they don't waste their rage. So they're trying very hard to change stances only when they respect the tactical mastery, either the inherent one or the talented one. So they account for all of that. The point is they are cherishing, they're treasuring the rage as much as possible. But you know, it doesn't really seem to pay dividends. But then again, we take the conversation back to the weapon. So it's very, 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 very debatable ultimately. So yeah, that's the problem. We'll keep an eye on it, and we'll decide later. But I think at very minimum still. The debatable part is whether or not Whirlwind really should be raged pull 4, as in a more healthy threshold to start rage dumping at is around 50 or so rage, and that's, I believe, what they have hard coded on vanilla. They waited up until 50 or so rage, and then they just heroic strike. Because it's, well, it's possible, but it's less likely, though still possible. I have seen it many times happen in raids, that between you auto attacking or whatever you do, if you're critting very hard, you can just go up very insanely quickly, up in rage to 100. It happens not so often, but it does happen. So yeah, I may have to drop the whirlwind, and we may have to put this at around 50, I would say, right? Because it's 30 for the bloodthirst and 20 for the cleave, which makes 50. So you say you need to have at least 50 rage. What happens though? What happens? Well, what happens is you may fix it in one direction and you break it in another direction. And well, what do I mean by that? Well, you fix it for the raids, but you kind of break it for, let's say, dungeons or just dual party situations, because in dual party situations or in a dungeon, it's not like you generate some stupid amount of rage. So in that case, what happens is, because you're generating rage slowly, you bloodthirst, let's say you rage pull to 50 and you bloodthirst, that takes 30, whirlwind wants 25, and now you don't have it. So now you're kind of just waiting to gain more rage so you can whirlwind. So you're delaying whirlwind or bloodthirst or whatever. That's the problem, because now if you don't deal very high damage, you generate kind of low rage and you're in this situation. But it would somehow still work better in raids. You could say, well, can't I make it so that they know if they're in a raid or not? And sure, I mean, it may be a couple of minutes of work, so it's not like it's anything difficult. Yes, I can just say, hey, if you're in a raid, then you know what, maybe I should just do this. How about that, everybody? Let's just do this while we're talking. What do I need? Let's say hold on, let me remind myself what the how to do this. Well, that's a little bit of an issue. Let me fix some of this code. Well, I'm going to just say, hey, if you're in a raid, then just handle it. And by that I mean, if you're in a raid, account for whirlwind, or don't account for whirlwind. Okay. So let me get the group here. But I don't want to say if the raid is a group, if the group is a raid type. I just want to say if we are in an actual raid instance. Right. So we're gonna look at if the map, I don't know. It's complicated, because okay, you can be in a raid situation, in a raid instance, but does that mean you also have enough damage? This is the okay, let's just say that, okay, if you're in a raid situation, anecdotally, right? Because I cannot know. Well, I can know. Of course I can know. I know, and I can know how many group members there are and all that jazz. But again, it's more anecdotal stuff, and I prefer not to do this sort of thing because I may be wrong. That's the problem. I'm making an educated guess, let's say, right? Okay, so what I said here is if you are in an actual raid instance, so now not a raid group but an actual instance, then don't account for whirlwind. If you are outside of a raid instance, such as anywhere but you're outside of Molten Core, I don't know, anywhere else but a raid, then account for whirlwind. And again, it's not perfect because you could be outside of Molten Core, you could still be in a raid group with 40 people and your damage could still be crazy and that sort of thing, and they would account for whirlwind. But then again, if we just, because basically a lot of this is just guesswork and maybe guesswork based on common sense, let's say, right, and experience. It doesn't really matter that much ultimately, right? Because if you are outside of a raid in your 40-man group and you just kill shit so quickly, who cares if the warriors are rage pulling at this or that? It's completely irrelevant. So I think that's sufficient enough. So we say again, if you are not in a raid, in an actual raid instance, then rage pull for whirlwind. And why are we doing this again? Because if you are in a dungeon and you don't generate that much rage, then you don't want to be dumping rage with cleave at 50 points. You'll be doing it at 75 points, right? Assuming that you have all this other jazz, right? So this is more about, let's say, a level 40, 50, something plus. And that's the idea. You save rage for whirlwind because whirlwind, and again, this is more like single target situation, because in an AoE situation they would prioritize whirlwind anyway. So then it would be Bloodthirst who has like a problem. But either one of those, if you are, say, doing a dungeon, then rage pull for whirlwind and allow for Bloodthirst and whirlwind to be used as much as possible. And if you are really pushing past 75 rage, then use cleave and whatnot. So that's maybe. Okay, now, because in my mind I'm trying to figure out of all the situations and all the problems that can happen, and I think maybe, like, you could argue, okay, if you are in an AoE situation, let's say you have two mobs, and you, in their logic, they're going to use whirlwind first, and then hold on, should they, I don't have whirlwind, do I? Let me look it up, because I just, so whirlwind hits up to 4 enemies. What is the minimum amount of enemies where it would be acceptable to use whirlwind? Whirlwind generates a separate attack for all the enemies it hits, up to 4. That's a huge deal, right? That's why whirlwind is so great. But I think in the code I have them do it at around 3 enemies. I say you need to have at least 3 enemies around you, whatever, so you can use whirlwind. But should it be used at 2? I'm asking for the priority, for the spell priority. Should they use whirlwind because they use whirlwind at 3, and then they use Bloodthirst, and then they use whirlwind at a single target, right? So the question is, should they use whirlwind at 2 instead of 3? Is that justifiably good enough at 25 rage cost? Maybe it is. It probably is, though. I think it may be. I think it may still be. If you're attacking at least 2 guys, maybe whirlwind is still better to be used as a priority, because you are still generating 2 attacks, which brings the conversation with cleave. Should they then cleave? Should they rage pull then? Because when you rage, then we're having a different conversation. If you're in an AoE situation, should they be rage pulling for Bloodthirst? right? Because, and it may seem like a pain in the ass to even try to figure out all of this, but if you're in an AoE situation, your damage generation will come primarily from Whirlwind and Cleave. And if I'm, let's say, just prioritizing Whirlwind and Cleave, and I'm like, yeah, because it's more attacks, you should do it as much as possible, then in AoE situation, maybe it's not even a good idea to Rage Pull. Fuck. Right? And you should still Rage Pull for Whirlwind though. That's doubly fucked. Which means I need to change my function where I Rage Pull for Bloodthirst. So in the same way I put an extra condition for Rage Pulling for Whirlwind, I need to have a condition for Rage Pulling for Bloodthirst, which is annoying. This is annoying to do. Well, okay, I take it back. It's not annoying. The problem is it will cost me more processor to do it in a very annoying way. Fuck, but I should do this. I should allow them to generate more attacks with a priority, I think. And I guess we'll find out in practice, because we're going to pay attention to what the warrior is doing. But how am I going to do this? How is it a good idea to do? I don't know. Should they not? Fuck. It's not simple. It's not simple at all. Because if I try to fix this in one way, I'll break it in a different way. I don't know. Let's leave it alone for that. This is not something I can fix in a minute. I need to think. I need to structurally change things. Yeah, it's going to get complicated if I try to do this. This is not a simple solution because it depends. As usual, it just depends. So, okay, let's leave this alone and we'll see how it actually goes into practice. Maybe I should even generate more warriors so we get a warrior with a relatively decent weapon, because, well, it just matters to them much for them. And it's kind of how I proceeded in vanilla when I wrote the logic for the companions in vanilla, because I eliminated gear and consumables as a factor, and whatever remained was the actual logic. So if they were underperforming, at least I couldn't blame the gear or something like that. So I think we may need to generate the warriors with a better weapon and then look at the rotations and see what happens. So, all right, enough talky, let's do some killy. What are we doing? We're doing Blackfathom depths, even though we did it before. We're gonna do it again, and we're gonna do it at a lower level. I noticed since the previous days, I noticed that they actually lowered the level of some of these dungeons so they can be done sooner. So I think maybe on vanilla something like level 28 or something like that. Yeah, but here it's 24. So I'm going with 20 because I want to be 4 levels under the level of the last boss in the dungeon. So it's more challenging, and we're doing this because when it's more challenging, it also it forces the companions and me as well to try harder, and that's the best scenario under which we find the most issues, as we have seen. And I'm okay. Like last time we didn't manage to clear Shadowfang Keep, and that was okay. I think you're either missing damage because I'm not participating in these fights, which was the case, like we have seen that it was the case, or a crowd control, and it's either or both, or a combination, because I didn't bring particularly the correct team, and that is okay, right? I want, again, I want to give the possibility to fail. I don't want the companions. It's not like I cannot just give them all the best gear and all the best things and all the best blah blah. But there has to be some sort of fail condition, the possibility for you to fail. And if there's the possibility for you to fail, if it is possible for you to fail, then as a consequence, logically speaking, I'm not talking about exceptions, of course. I don't, well, I care about exceptions, but not in this case. If it's possible for you to fail, then you have to try harder to ensure that you don't. And that's the whole point. You have to actually do something. All right. Let's get what do we want to test. What do we want to test? I don't know. Let's... I don't think it matters. Definitely not the warrior tank, because I want a thingy poopy. I want the warrior DPS, so I don't know. Let's go with shaman tank, just picking at random. Or maybe we should have done a bear tank. Let's look at the bear tank. We're gonna look at the bear tank. We're gonna get, let's say, a paladin healer. I don't, for no reason, just picking something out. I want the warrior DPS, and what else is going to not bother us too much? I don't know. Let's get the rogue, and don't think about it too hard. Yeah, the warrior and the rogue rivalry is timeless, so it's always good to test these together. So let's mark things appropriately. Let's set debug on. Okay. What is wrong with my bear? I don't understand. Strange. What was his role? Because he wasn't information. That's... Did I hire, like, I don't know, a DPS? I'm confused. We'll see. Alright, so what I expect from the warrior, well, we did say we're gonna maybe generate... yeah, this is a little bit the shitty weapon, but it's not unrealistic, okay? That's the thing about it. It's not unrealistic at all. Like a level 20 warrior with a level 16 weapon, that can happen. In fact, it's quite probable to happen. It's not like you just get all the time all the best weapons. I mean, obviously, look, if you, for any reason, think, oh no, he should have a level 20 weapon and all the best gear, you're missing the point. That's you with like 20 years of experience playing this game and min-maxing and reading guides, and I promise you, you're like the 10%, right, of players. 90% of people will have a level 16 weapon on their warrior, I promise you, or worse, and it's not even gonna be green. It's gonna be some shitty weapon, so it has to be a little bit more realistic, and that's alright by me. What about the other guy? He's got, yeah, well, yeah, we can expect him to deal better damage. Also remember, so yeah, they're going to, the rogues are going to pick at random between maces, daggers, swords, fists, I think. Maybe that one is as well. So they're gonna pick at random one of those, and when they randomize with one of them, so if let's say they get the mace in the main hand, they'll also get the mace in the offhand. If they get the dagger in the main hand, they get the dagger in the offhand. When they're upgrading in gear, remember, because in the previous episode, well, let's scale while I'm talking. In the previous episode, we looked at this again. Ignore the movement issues. Yeah, eating my liver. In the previous episode, I talked about the fact that they allocate talents based on the weapons that they have equipped, and when they upgrade their weapons, let's say they wear daggers and they found a sword, they do account for the bonus from the talents before upgrading. So they calculate how much value they would gain from the talent with that dagger or sword when changing to something else, right? Whatever they may be wearing. So that's nice, let's say. So if we ever find a better sword, and it's the same for the warriors, and maybe I'll even point it out, though it's not going to be obvious in the way it happens. But looking at the warrior, I expect him right now to just cleave. Right now, he's not pulling for anything. He doesn't have bloodthirst. We're not fighting a boss, so he doesn't need to pull for Sunder. He doesn't have Whirlwind, which means the only thing he's pulling for right now is 20 rage or so for cleave. And they do account for the talents as well. So I say 20 for cleave is going to be 20. If it was like if the warrior was 19, then he would be pulling for heroic strike, which would be 15 minus 3, 12, right? They will be pulling at 12. So they dynamically know how much rage the spell costs. So they're not, well, they account for this. So let's leave it at that. So yeah, I do expect him. Well, he was a heroic striking because he was attacking a single target. But whenever we see a dual target situation, 2+ enemies, I do expect him to cleave. That should happen. Of course, they still look at cleave. They look at how many targets it chains to in the same way. Yeah, so they should know, and they account for crowd control, and they account for CC marks and all that jazz. I talked about this in previous episodes, but that was not the issue. The issue is that they're swimming somewhere, aren't they? And they're probably swimming somewhere. Yeah, they're... Oh my god, that's terrible. He's actually going around? Oh, jeez. Yeah. There's a difference, and it's very arguable. A difference between the vanilla server and the TBC server. On the TBC server, I didn't make them force come in these situations. So, well, they're not just taking a direct path. So they were in the water, and I expecting them on the vanilla server they would just come straight away. Yeah, just flying through the air. But here on TBC they're pathing around, which obviously you see there's this problem where he went around and pulled some shit. Yeah, obviously not ideal. Well, I say obvious because it's not obvious at all. It's very debatable, like many other things. Let's say we're gonna look into this some other time, because we're gonna pick our battles here, because otherwise we'll never be done with them. Yeah, let's focus on this some other time. This is more of a minor issue, if it is an issue or not. Is the problem. I'm not sure if they should be doing that or shouldn't be doing that. You might think they shouldn't be doing that, right? But I don't know. At the same time, just flying through the air all the time, even though they're still kind of flying through the air, so it's not, I'm not really gaining anything by, yeah. Again, I need to think more about this. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it should work in the same way. Hold on. Alright, I am back. I had to take a phone call. Should probably cut that out of the video so I don't bore you to tears, even though I probably already have. If anybody's still watching. Anyway, so we can see that their damage is within 5%, and again 5% is my, let's say, margin of error and my threshold for it's still okay. There's nothing to really concern too much about when it's within 5%, because, well, it comes down to a lot of the time the gear, the things, the spells, the this and that and the other thing, right? So it's rather arguable, but you can see that he is pulling for Thunder Armor, because otherwise, yeah, he'd be heroic striking a lot more. So he's not heroic striking, he's pulling for Thunder Armor, and now that he's got that going for him, oh, you look at it, right? What's Thunder Armor, like 20 or something? Yeah, there you go. There you go. You saw it. So it's probably like 20 for Thunder Armor plus 15, that's 35, and you saw he did it at around 40 or something, right? So that's perfect. That's exactly how it should work. I'm not sure about Rend. I thought he should pull for that as well, but it's not a well, it's kind of a big deal actually, because the sooner you get those Thunders up, the better, in my opinion. But yeah, it's a different situation now, because this is correct. Like I'm okay with this, right? Keep rage for the important stuff, and when you're like, yeah, and hamstring follows the same logic. Yeah, hamstring should follow the same logic as heroic strike. So they're both dumping at the same time, even though hamstring, hold on, let's think about it. Should he because maybe hamstring, he should use that at 70 or 75. Maybe he should use that at 75 hamstring, because I don't hamstring is not what's the purpose of hamstring if we think about it. Like, what do you benefit? What's the benefit of using that? Well, it's another attack. And it can proc different things, such as things you have on your weapon if you're using some kind of procky enchant, or some kind of weapon special effects, or wind fury, or whatever, stuff like that, right? And the damage you generate with it, the damage you deal is not that big. Well, it's 5%, and one of it was a little bit of a crit, so it's not the biggest thing in the world. It really isn't. And actually, between hamstring and heroic strike is quite a little bit stronger. So, and even if you look at the spell itself, right? If you look at the spell itself, this one causes 5 damage, blah blah, and this other one causes what? Wait, is it 5 damage, or is it like adding 5 damage? It literally does 5 damage. Come on, man. Yeah, it's 5 damage. And don't get me wrong, again, the problem with heroic strike, which I cannot see it. Why don't I see heroic strike? Am I blind with 2 eyes, or do I not have heroic strike? Is that what you're telling me? Seriously? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Okay, anyway, moving on. So yeah, you're not generating rage because heroic strike attaches to your next auto attack. You're not generating any rage because of that, which means that overall your damage because of the threat may be, well, it is reduced, but it doesn't mean it's low that you shouldn't use it. But nonetheless, with hamstring, it's a little bit of a different story, because hamstring, the only purpose of it is to proc shit. And really, if you're like almost overflowing with rage and you got no choice, then you might as well just do something, right? but I think I should probably put that at 75 though. I'm not okay with him spamming it at 35 or whatever he was at the point. I don't think that's correct. Okay. So I see why he was using Rend even though he hadn't finished Sunder Armor, because he should have Rage Pull for that one. And he is Rage Pulling for it, but he's making an exception to it if the target is a boss, which is arguable. I think it's arguable. He's not rage pulling if the target is not a boss. You know what? Just rage pull. I want Sunder to go out fast. I just want... We're talking about the DPS warrior, right? Which means you have a tank in the group and he benefits from Sunder. And, you know, in non-party situation, I don't care so much. So let's rage pull for Rend as well. I want to see all hamstrings going out first. And he should have rage... Oh, he did rage pull for hamstring. But I'm just going to say... yeah, just straight up 75 rage. Like, I don't even care. I'm gonna change that right now. Give me a second. Right, so I'm no longer using the same rage pulling amount as with the cleave and heroic strike. We're just gonna hard code the 75, like straight up. If you're like overflowing with rage, sure, okay, fine, we can discuss that. And yeah, I don't know overall how much of a difference that makes, but nonetheless. Should we go do this? There was a boss over yonder, wasn't there? I guess let's go kill it too. Why is he complaining about main hand weapon? Maybe he got disarmed? I'm not sure. I didn't pay attention. Oh, don't forget that the companions can drown. So let's come toggle them and just get them above water. They can drown and they will drown. And better bring a warlock if you're... or a shaman. Or drink a water breathing potion, whatever. Figure it out. If you have breathing issues. Let's come state them over here, actually. It's kind of the same problem, if it is a problem. I'm not sure if it's a problem or not. I guess I'm just not that knowledgeable about this. What the f... That was not okay. That was 100% not okay. Why? I have them all on stay, right? You can clearly see that they're on stay because they're not moving. Unless the server has crashed. It's not, it's fine. So he's clearly on stay, yet he is still charged. So let me note this down. Bear has charged while on stay. And the thing about it is that it's not easily reproducible, right? Or at least I don't think it is. Because he should also do it here if he could. So it's one of those, I don't know, weird situations. Alright, let's kill this guy. I don't know why he's not resetting like they do on vanilla when they're in a situation where they cannot reach the target. I would expect them to reset, right? Again, I'm not the most knowledgeable let's say, how it is supposed to work on retail and such. So I don't know. And these guys are not attacking either. It's a very, very strange situation. Okay, let's move a little bit and just kill this guy, please. I'm still looting everything. I should remember to loot just so we can measure the gold. Their damage is okay. What is going on? What's wrong with the warrior? Why is he complaining? Yeah, should take a look at him if he's getting disarmed or something. Spell failed. Ah, yeah, he's disarmed. Okay. I can't really... I can test against this to not allow him, but it's honestly not worth it. So we're just gonna have to support. So yeah, they're gonna complain when they get disarmed, I guess, and when they get silenced, they're gonna complain about this stuff. You're not gonna see this. This is just for debugging. Just yeah, you're not gonna see this when you're debugging them. It's extra GM debugging, let's say. It's not very important for, let's say, normal situations. You see them switching positions based on where the mob is facing. The tank wants to be in front and the other guys want to be behind, but that only happens, like say, if a DPS would be tanking, he would not try to go behind. Otherwise, yeah, they would just go back and forth all the time, and it would be very weird and would achieve nothing, basically. Wasn't there a boss of sorts around here? Or some like Lady... Yeah, there he is. Lady Poopy-sen. Correct. Okay, Rogue stealthed up. Use Garrote. Cool, cool. Is that a rend? That's a rend. It's okay to rend. One of the conditions for rend... Well, one of them is this rage thing, but also... Hold on. What is the condition? Either the rage thing, or if the victim is above 75%. So, wait, this is not correct. No, hold on, this is not correct. There's a mistake here in the code. Okay, now it's above 75%. I guess we're going to pay attention to that to see if what happens exactly. So the warriors got... He charged, demoralizing shout, is correct. Battle shout, fine. Shoot. He's using shoot whenever he cannot reach the target, right? Wow, she's got chain lightning and shit. Nice. Rend. Okay. Yeah. I did say I wanted to see Sunder armor first, but I do have this other condition with... I don't know. Should I fix this? How would I fix this anyway? It's kind of weird. I guess I can say watch out for Sunders first. I mean, it's not the worst. It's kind of bad though. I really want Sunders to go up. Though, what's the best way to fix it is unclear. I need to think about it. I could say don't do this, because his option here is between rage pulling. So either rage pulling, or if the target is above 75%. So maybe that's not ideal. Ultimately, they should rage pull, right? They should rage pull. Either way, they should rage pull. So let's just make rage pulling like a guaranteed thing. Like, I really want you to rage pull. And end of story. Just do it, okay? Because, yeah, there are just more important things than Rend. I don't know what to say. Rend is great-ish. Big-ish. But I want, yeah, I don't want it to be cast at the very start. Blood Rage, Cleave, fine. Thunderclap, fine. Cleave, yeah, I just expect him to cleave now. Yeah, he's doing it at 35, he's cleaving at 35, which is correct. Or is it? Where is he actually? Oh, he's right here. He was frozen. Could he not move or what? He seems to be doing a little bit sooner. I think it's because, actually, I don't know why he's doing it sooner. Cleave for me is 20 rage, correct? Correct. Oh, it's 15. I thought it was 20. Okay, never mind. Yeah, then what? Oh, they drowned? Ah, come on, man. I was debugging. I wasn't paying attention to their breathing poops. But yeah, you see, this is a real problem. And you gotta pay attention to it. Or figure out a different way. It's kind of a strange situation here with the water. I don't know what's going on. Let me mark everybody, because they lose the marks when they die. Yeah, I think pathing is not ideal in the water. Maybe. Because he still seems to be attacking. Let's just get out of the water. It's... yeah, it's not great. You saw that, right? He taunted. I think he was attacking some squishy. He taunted, and then the bear went in and taunted back. Yeah, I have them on calm toggle now. Alright, let's get out of the water, please. Too much weird. Okay, while I'm waiting here for them to kill this stuff, maybe I should go back, look at Whirlwind. And when they're prioritizing Whirlwind as an AoE, maybe they should do it for at least 2 people, right? So if it's good enough to use for a single target, then it should be even better to use in an AoE situation. So we're gonna go like that. It's very difficult to calculate anyway, but yeah, we're gonna do it like that. And I have to go even in the tank logic, because the tank in certain situations he's whirlwinding as well for rage dumping if he finds himself in the berserker stance, and we talked about this at the time. He does find himself because he may do something like intercept, or he may just change into berserker stance to do berserker rage, and then he wants to go back into defensive stance and he needs to dump, so he's using whirlwind as a means to do it because it costs quite a lot of rage. Of course he's using heroic strike and cleave as well if necessary. Which way? This way, right? Wait, did we get cursed? Oh, the druid removes curses at 24. Damn, son. We keep having to bear through these curses. Get it? Bear through these curses? Mwah, mwah. It's going to be pretty slow until the end, I believe, because they're pretty low level. Should probably not pull this many, because if I pull the next pack, yeah, they're pretty rippy at 23. It's not ideal. Definitely not ideal. Overall, I'm okay with this amount of damage, methinks. This is an okay amount of damage. I mean, you can clearly see, because we did this at the higher level. At what? We did it at 24 or something. And the difference is significant in the amount of time to kill, at least. It clearly just takes way longer, like not even twice as long, more like 3 times as long. And I'm okay with this. This is okay. I mean, of course, you can choose to do this at a higher level. You can choose to participate yourself in the fight. You can use consumables. You have options. Which is exactly right. One thing I should mention, because I see the rogue is picking up some steam as opposed to the warrior, and if I were to guess as to why that happens, is because these guys are higher level now. And if you look at the rogue, he's got precision. Yeah. And the warrior does not. And this matters. It absolutely freaking matters. Hit chance is quite valuable when you're leveling, if you're going to fight higher level enemies. Like 3 higher levels than you are, absolutely. Absolutely, it's gonna be fantastic. Because I think the biggest problem here is that you're missing the... Well, you're missing the auto attacks, which constitute almost half your damage. But you're also missing, you can see so many misses. The special poops. You see so many misses on everything. Misses. And that's the one that matters the most. When you're missing your abilities. And if a target is 3 levels higher, then... yeah, you need like, I don't know, 9% or something. I should implement the... Oh, I should implement the stats command. Just so we can see the stats of all the things in the world. Like there is on vanilla. I wonder if they can handle this. Yeah, the paladin is just not as efficient. We talked a little bit about his inefficiencies. It's hard to say if it's worth fixing or whatnot. But yeah, he drank a mana potion there, and that kind of saved it. Oh no! Yep, that's a wipe. Oh, the patrol guy, everybody. I'm okay with this. Yeah, if it was you in the situation and you were not paying attention, some patrol walked into you and aggroed your group. Yeah. All I had to do was pay attention. That's all. It would be great if they could kill this final guy just so we alleviate a bit of a problem. But it's not looking good. You see the rogue evasion, which is nice. Do it, rogue. Yep. Oh, I told him to distract, or what is this spell called? Feint, I think. Only if they have a tank in the group, but I did not consider if the tank is alive. That's what I didn't do. I didn't think about that part, did I? Actually, I didn't even say if he has a tank. I should say. Yeah, I'm gonna say he has a live tank in the group. Alright. Because fainting for absolutely no reason like that is not useful. Like, that didn't actually accomplish anything. One of the things we worked on is that we wanted the positioning to be a little bit more spread out, aka more realistic. And you can see when they're positioning behind the target, unlike on vanilla where they just all blitz into the same point behind the target, now they actually kind of figure out where they're supposed to stay, and they randomize their position a little bit, so it looks a bit more natural and normal. And if you are here attacking, you could be in this position. Yeah, you have a nice spread out. It's probably a good idea to be careful around here with these stealthy dudes. You know, you might say, looking at the damage dealing part, the rogue pick up steam just because I think of that precision. But you could say also that the rogue doesn't really bring that much utility as compared to, say, the warrior, who's constantly demoralizing shout and things like that, and thunderclapping and whatnot. He's even disarming bosses and stuff if he has disarm, if he can. I think that may be just the tanks. Let me look at it. I don't know it by heart. Yeah, that's the tanks. But either way, just demoralizing Shout and Thunderclap are a huge deal. So you could argue that what the Rogue brings to the group is just higher damage, higher DPS, right? Because he's putting points into things like precision and whatnot. So that's his contribution. And yeah, it makes a difference. You can see it. It's high, he has higher damage, which is fine. I think that's okay. We should probably be careful here. I don't remember if these guys flee when they're about to die, but if one of them does, then we're gonna wipe again, which is, yeah, not ideal. Let's avoid it if we can. But yeah, like I said in the previous episode, so long as they play correctly, I don't have any real issues with necessarily how much damage they're dealing. As long as it's around 5% or so, which in this case it's 6%, but yeah. But as long as it looks decent, then I'm okay with that. So long as they perform their rotation that you'd expect, or that I expect, because I don't know what other people expect. Everybody expects different things. Yeah, this is not great. Let's gather up a little bit. It looks correct, right? Cleave when they're at least 2, heroic strikes otherwise, they rage pull for Sunder. I have no complaints. It seems correct, it looks correct. Then it must be correct. Yes. If it looks right, then it is what it is. What can I say? Nah, let's come toggle out of this. I don't like the way it looks. Ooh. Oh no, 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 no. This terrible. No. Too many. Kind of a wipey situation here. Oh man, if we had some bombs. We can't use bombs. I said we're not gonna use bombs. But if we did had some bombs, wouldn't that be neat? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Bear's not. Oh my god. Ah, he got interrupted? Did he? Can we verify that? Yes. Good job. Oracle. He kicked the heel. Look at that, everybody. Nice. I approve. This guy... Feral... Wow. Okay. I guess he can interrupt with that. I didn't realize it was going to get registered in the software. Alright, while I was looking at the DPS meter, I guess they handled the situation. Good for them. If you were here, you could have done it even better. Keep calm, keep pumping. Stay while I loot. Now, from memory, this is a nasty pull. I'm not sure. This guy doesn't have any ranged thingy, does he? Let's come toggle back. Maybe we can avoid pulling the boss. Nah, it went better than I expected, than I remember this going. Yep, rendered 75% plus. Boom. Oh, he's still supposed to be rage pulling. So I guess he was. I mean, his rage seems to be pretty high, generally speaking. Yeah, exactly. It was like around 40. So he heroic striked and he rendered. I am okay with that. That's fine. I accept that result. This gives us an opportunity to test the shrine, because last time I couldn't get all the people, all the companions buffed up with it, because I spammed the use key instead of, and they were all trying to use the shrine at the same time, and I said maybe the problem is it can only be used once. I don't know, or maybe I bugged it by spamming it on everybody. So I'm thinking this time around we're just gonna do it one by one. Just to see what happens. It's a very strange object, I don't know. I have issues, same issues, or not the same necessarily, but similar issues on vanilla. Okay, so click one of them at a time and press the use button, and he used the poop and he got the buff. And then click the next guy and hit use. And he said that he used it, but you know what? Let's just get them all on stay. Yeah, he used it, but nothing happened anymore. Maybe he breaks it. Maybe the first companion who uses this breaks it. You know what we should do next time? Well, I don't know if there's gonna be a next time. I'm not familiar with the TBC GM commands, so I can fix that right now. But what I would do if there was a next time, I would click it myself first, and then I would have one of the companions click it. And if they get the buff, that means there's a bug there. If not, maybe it's just limited to one, which is, I don't know, kind of strange. But nonetheless, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's not a giant buff. You get int 5, spirit 5, frost damage 15. So if you are a mage, if you have a mage in a group, yeah, just give it to him. He'll be fine. But at least on vanilla, everybody could have obtained it, so I'm not sure what the correct thing would be, how it's correctly supposed to work. Yeah, not exactly my area of expertise. Okay, bigger pulls. Let's do a corner pull here. Focus on the sea witch. It's kind of strange that he's doing failed no power. Why is he doing that exactly? Am I not checking for power, or what's happening? I am not checking for power. What? I'm actually not checking for power on this spell. Why? Well, I know why. But I mean, hold on, I can fix this. This is fine. Yeah, hold on. Okay. Should be fixed now. There you go, everybody. We're fixing things live as we're going through this dungeon. How much damage is this guy doing with Rend? I mean, it's not the greatest. It's not terrible either. It's, I suppose, about what you'd expect. Are they coordinating thingy poop? Demoralizing shell. Yes, they are coordinating. So what's happening is that the warrior and the bear can both demoralize the target. The bear has demoralizing roar and the warrior has demoralizing shout, and they both check, so they don't both do it at the same time. But there's no thing that would tell the warrior, for example, not to use it if he's got the bear in the group, because I think that's fine. Because I don't know what the bear is doing. Maybe the bear is stunned, or maybe the bear is, I don't know, maybe he's got no rage. Maybe, you know? So then just use it, because it's only 10 rage and it provides very good defensive layer. And all of these things, they add up. It's layer upon layer of utility spells and defensive layers and all this jazz. Yeah, Paladin attacking with the melee attack matters, because he could be running out of mana. The faster you kill, the less mana he's going to need to spend on healing, right? The faster you kill your enemies, the less mana is necessary. So him doing some auto attacks when it's safe is a good idea. It helps with that process. Maybe he's not mana efficient, but he's making up for it. If you're playing a paladin healer, you'll be doing the same damn thing. And also, yeah, he's got armor and a shield, so he's not particularly squishy. Well, he's got mail armor. That's pretty damn good. He's probably tankier than this rogue is. Yeah, he is tankier than the rogue. Look at that, everybody. He's got 50% more HP and 1 armor class above. Hell yeah. That's pretty damn nice. Which is a difference from vanilla, where I gave the healers kind of whatever. Like if a piece of cloth or leather had good stats, then they would equip that. And here I said only give them their actual armor class. And you can see it, well, just because I want them to be more versatile. So because between them using their highest armor class and all the companions being a little bit more protective and using more crowd controls to defend their group, it just ensures, or it helps with the survivability. It is a better, yes. So good. And you can see it, it's not snake oil. Like, how many times in our previous videos have we not been in a situation and I said, wow, I can't believe they survived that. And you saw even in this run where the warrior used taunt to pull off one of the squishies. Yeah, because the warrior, I mean, the warrior is tanky too. If you look at the warrior, like, should the warrior taunt off the rogue? He's got 50% more HP than the rogue. Why shouldn't he? He's got more HP, he's got more armor, he can take a hit, he don't care. Look at what? Look at this, everybody. He just picked up this staff, which is a caster staff, and of course it's correct because it deals more damage, so who cares that it's a staff with spirit and intellect? It's a better weapon, boys. Hell yeah, I equipped that shit. Yeah, let's see. This previous one had 13 damage per second. Wow. This one has 20. You know what? Let's reset the DPS meter. You know what? Let's not reset the DPS meter. Just look at it. He was 6 points behind and now he's 4, 5, 4.5. I don't know. Call me crazy, but I called it. I mean, it's not a huge call because obviously, well, I say obvious, maybe it's not obvious to everybody, but the better weapon they have, the more damage they deal, because things like cleave, which generate, you see him, he's using it right now, and it generates an additional attack, and the more badass the weapon is, you're doing an extra attack with a more badass weapon, of course. It starts to make a difference. Nice. And the cool part about it is at some point he is going to invest into things of the nature of shield, sword specialization, mace specialization, whatever. And he's going to account for that as well. If he's got a sword and he's looking at some staff as a potential upgrade. I'm moonwalking. Then, what is happening? He's going to account for that, for those talent points, and he's not gonna calculate additional hits or whatever it does normally, right? Gives you a 1% chance to get an extra attack. He's not gonna calculate it like that. He'll just calculate it by crit percentage. So he'll consider that this sword specialization has 1% crit per rank. I think that's fair, and they're rather comparable anyway. So it only makes more of a difference at higher levels, at better gear like endgame stuff. But yeah, 1% crit. So he's gonna, if he had 5 points into this, then he would say, well, this 5% extra crit plus whatever stat weights I gain from the weapon, is that better or not? Is this worse or not than whatever potential other upgrade I might be looking at? Something of that nature. Oh, there's a boss, everybody. We got a boss on our hands. And everybody's attacking whatever. Alright, please don't die. Wow, the paladin is really struggling, boys. But yeah, that boss is very scary looking. What? This guy, look at him. It was perfect. They got frozen and now he's kiting. I should, I think I gave the companion, the mage one at least, the same thing. Maybe I should extend it to other squishy targets. That's a very good move. It's a dick move, but it's a good move. Sunder, 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 Sunder. Approve. Sunder, Sunder. And then Heroic Strike. And then the target is dead. That's fine. Let's get the Acolyte. I'm glad the Paladin got his Consecration. We get to see it in action. You see, by the way, right? Consecration, Paladin healer, contributing 8% of the damage in the group. Hell yeah, bruh. That is nothing to scoff at, man. Think about it. It's like you just had 10% extra damage. Or 8%, whatever. But Consecration is, yeah, 30% of that almost. 26, 27. It's pretty damn good. Of course, think about it. It's not like you couldn't even get better. It could if there were more AoE situations, but we're doing rather conservative pulls. If we were fighting, if we were doing this dungeon at the higher level, say, and we had more opportunities for big pull AoEs, it would be even better, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. And we all live together. I'm doing some pulls. It's just these guys are becoming higher and higher level, and I want them to play correctly, basically. But you can see the damage between the warrior and the rogue is the gap is shrinking. It used to be like 5%, it was 6% and 5%, and now it's shrinking. Well, it's still 5-ish, but it's shrinking. If I were to reset this, it would probably look better. But I'm not gonna, because it's clear what's happening, so we don't need to test even more. No, 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 no. Abort. That is terrible. Let's kill this Aqua Pupisen and then the Aquamancer Pupisen. Let's put a skull mark on this guy. Let's give them... I guess we can give them cross. Cross. Oh, come on, man. How many of them can there be? They just keep coming. Relentless. Okay, let's kill this guy, and then that guy, and then CC this big cow. Do we have CCs? We should bring more mages to our groups. You see that in spite of the fact there's a CC target over there, he calculated the chain of his cleave, because cleave chains like chain lightning, except it only cleaves to one additional enemy, and he deemed it okay. Of course, had this guy moved, because he queues up the cleave and then it happens, but if something changes, he doesn't know how to stop it. Could I make him stop? Yes. Am I gonna make him stop? No, because I want you to fail. That's correct. I want you to fail, and then I want you to be mad, and then you're gonna say the companions are stupid. I'm just gonna look for another player to play with. because the companions don't know how to stop their cleave when there's some kind of CC situation. There you go. Leaving there some small fail conditions, which I know you don't like. You don't need to tell me. I know. But it's gonna be there anyway. What you gonna do? School this, cross that. No bother CCing, because they ain't got nothing. I guess the row could gouge, right? So if we do this, this is a humanoid. Yeah, it's kind of tricky because the rogue needs to be in the face of the humanoid, so it doesn't work. And they also need to be close. It needs to be in the, yeah, facing the face, and it needs to be within melee range. So that's tricky disposition. Ah, perfect. Exactly. There you go. Thank you for proving my point, motherfucker. It's correct. I approve. I don't know. So far it looks good. I have no complaints. When it's correct, it's correct. When it's not correct, we fix it. And when it works, and that's ultimately what matters. It's very sketchy because I'm concerned that we might accidentally pull 2 packs. Very sketch. Kill this thing, kill that thing. I wonder if someone's gonna watch this video. Never. But if someone does, I wonder if they're thinking, hey, when the skull target dies, shouldn't maybe the cross target become the skull target so that you can more easily just like cross somebody else? Because if you are, say, skulling and crossing, and then you wanted to, like, say the skull dies and you want to keep chaining like that, then what you're gonna put on this guy in the up there, right? So if you school him and they go in the order, then they'll just go for that guy, which is not ideal because you want the cross to die first. So yeah, can that be done? Sure. With some work, it's possible. I don't know. This is just a small suggestion for myself, I guess. Maybe. Kind of maybe sorry. Just kind of throwing that out there into the void. Doesn't mean I'm gonna do it. But it does mean that I thought about it. But then again, you may not want that to happen because you could be in a raid situation where the marks or the mark priority is very important and you don't really need to mess with that anymore. So probably not a good idea. But it does exist in the realm of possibilities, I suppose. Yeah, let's pull back a bit because, or maybe not. They're fine. Ooh, that was so close. Let's, what's going on with this Loch Ness monster? He changed his mind, he was attacking us sooner. There's a bug that happens sometimes. I haven't figured out how to fix it. I guess it hasn't happened this time. What happens in Sethek calls, at least, where I noticed this bug happening quite a lot, is if one of the companions gets mind controlled by a mind control totem, and then he gets CC'd or double CC'd by the companions, and they're CCing him because I programmed them to CC my control teammates, because obviously they're doing damage and you don't want that to happen. And you don't want to kill them either. Man, it's so annoying when you're doing dungeons at low level and you're just well, you gotta be careful. I'm just purposefully letting them fail because I don't want to work too hard, but also because it gives me a chance to push them. And when I push them, we find cracks. There was no crack here. The only crack here is the one I'm smoking because I was too lazy to do a corner pull, which I should have done. Oi! Fuck. Come on, man. I don't want to deal with this. Crepa. Yeah, let's abort this. That was my mistake. And I don't want to deal with this. It's not the point. You better make sure you don't fall off. Yes? Baby wipes are correct. Just so you know. I approve of baby wipes. What I don't approve is bad logic. But baby wipes? Hell yeah. Just what the doctor ordered. Ah, come on, man. How many? Too many. Okay, that one and this one. Wait, there's more? But wait, there's more. And that one and this one. And then that one. Oh, scheiße. The tank is dead. And I am mind controlled. Oh no. What to do? Oh, we could have used... Okay, let's abort. We could have used sup, bro. Oh. I should have waited a second. But bro, we could have used rogue sap. Does he have sap at level 20? I don't know. We desperately need some crowd control. I keep running with warriors and rogues, and at low level they don't have that many options. Let's try the sappy thing, yeah. What could possibly go wrong? It is for sign. Oh, kill him. He's a bad boy. Click on this, click on that, and this. And the now we the put on this shadow mage, the moon. I don't know where the healer is. I am el confused. Oh, the healer is here. Never mind. It's okay. So what we do here is the put on the stay, and then click on the guy, and actually don't put on the stay the rogue, because rogue needs go. Now we wait a second because it gon' see rogue, because rogue go no care, and this guy see, and now he has sub. Beautiful. Yes, that is correct and it is approved. That is not correct. That didn't really go according to plan. So now we improvise. It failed, but in a good way. Yes, we accept. This is good fail. Is it safe to kill the boss without killing the ads? Yes, it is correct. No problem. The boss is gonna die. Thunder armor, thunder. Wow, he slapped everybody. Look at that. Yeah, and the paladin broke out of it with the shield. They're good. Wow, that sleep was long. Thunder armor, thunder armor. Again? Really? Wow. Don't worry, the healer has shield and mail armor. He can take a hit. Do not stress about it. Thunder armor overpowered, blood rage. Correct, correct, correct. Man, I don't remember this boss being such a pain in the ass at 24 when we did this. Incredible. Oh, they interrupted him this time. Correct. Good job, boys. Heroic strike. Correct. Doing it at 35. Correct. I approve. When it works, it works. Yeah, rogue, take time to go stealth. Very bad. Take too much time. We talked about this. Not problem. Handle it. Choose whether or not that should happen by denying stealth or play differently. Because, yeah, if you right click from a distance, he gonna go stealth. If you walk into an enemy, he don't gonna go stealth. If you do other things, like maybe pull back, he not gonna go stealth. So you have the options. Oh, scheiße. I shouldn't have clicked all those things. I fucked up. I fucked up big time. But actually, let's skip this. Because at this point it is correct for me. I don't know. There is nothing else to see in this run. So let's spawn all these guys, and then I cannot 86 them because I don't have the GM command readily available, and I don't want to learn it because it will mess up my setup. So we're gonna manually 86 all the crabs. Then we make nice crab clamet or surprise clamet and profit. Yes. Everything that I had to see, I saw it already, so it's not important to kill these. Let's go finish the boss and measure the gold, which is more than the previous dungeon, which is a good sign. And we don't actually, I don't have anything to fix for next video, do I? Because, well, there was this one situation where the bear charged while he was on stay, so maybe I should look into that. But this is kind of a core issue, because if he's on stay, then I don't know. Whichever issue it might be worth looking into though. Definitely should not be doing anything while on stay. It was also around the water, so I'm not sure. Maybe we'll wait and see if it happens when we're not around water. If it happens out in the world, like right here. This type of situation. But it doesn't happen. That's the problem. The problemero is that it don't work, yo. When you look for it, you never find. When you don't look for it, happen all time. This is how things are sometimes. What you can do? You cannot do nothing. You put up with it. Notice that the damage of the warrior has really bridged the gap. I blame Cleave. Yes, exactly. Cleave. You see, this is why we did this whole thing at the start of the video. Just because of this. So in some of the previous videos, whenever I was like, yeah, not enough damage, because he was using too much heroic strike, not enough cleave, not enough juice, and results were appropriate. Well done, my boys. Can I pull this without pulling the ads? For science, we're gonna find out. Fuck. Okay, boys, no stress. You relax, you calm down, you skull, cross, and you hope for the best. I would CC, but no point, because I don't think this beast can be CC'd even. He's not even marked as anything. I don't think I've seen a single mob in this game who's not categorized as some kind of thing. Or he's not a beast, he's not a humanoid, obviously. It kind of looks like your mama. He's not a demon? I don't know. Not like your mama, like your mother-in-law. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. But maybe they can do it. Maybe. The paladin ran no mana potion available. Whoa. Something happened. Wait. Let's look at healing done. No, healing done. He's using... I allowed the bears to use healing potions and potions while in bear form. We talked about this in the previous video. I'm not sure about it. I may choose not to do this. Or have them do it normally. I don't know. Problem is, if you're fighting some raid boss and you pop out of bear form, you're gonna get clapped. But I mean, if you can't do it, then you cannot do it, right? So that's kind of part of the deal. So it's not even so much for the bears. It's more for what their face is. For the cats, for their mana puppy power shifting thing. I don't know. I may go back and not allow that to happen. It's not correct. That's the problem. In this situation, he should have died sooner. I mean, he still died. He should die sooner though. So yeah, that's kind of a that's the problem. If the bear is too good, that also says something about the other tanks. It's not living in its own world, and it doesn't matter. It's connected to everything else. So yeah. If if you were a part of this fight, this boss at 30%, if you had used any consumables, you could have done this. But maybe, because the bear shouldn't have used potions. And maybe I'm just gonna say, yeah, bear don't use potions in bear form. Yeah, I don't know. I just, let's do it correctly. Yeah, fuck the bear. I don't know. That's the limit of your class. If you can't do it, you can't do it. I don't know. I think I don't care about the healing potions. I think I care more about the armor potion, the stone shield potion. That's the one I care about. I don't know. It's, maybe I'll just wait for some feedback from people. Maybe we'll just remove this restriction for even players. I don't know yet. I'll leave it alone for now. Maybe somebody will complain. Nobody has complained in 3 years about it though. But, well, complaining or not is not always the correct thing to take into account. Maybe I'll just wait until later, after I've ironed out more of their logic, and then remove it. So at least I don't have to worry about it for now. The only reason I'm doing this, well, maybe there are two reasons, is the cat and the stone shield potion for the bear. The cat in the mana potion for the rotation with the poopy scent. What you're supposed to be doing there, you're supposed to use the potion as you're shifting out of cat, and then waiting the cooldown to go back into the poop. That's kind of the problem, because normally the way you do it is that wow, this guy is really tanky. The way you do it is that when you shift out and back in, it takes basically no time to do it. Like it's almost instant, right? Because you don't have a global cooldown, so you shift out back in, poop, and it's instant. If I mix out a mana potion in there, well, it only happens once every 2 minutes, so it's not exactly. Oh, these guys died. Holy shit. Wow. I am okay with this. If they cannot kill this boss, I'm 100% okay, because I expected to do something. Wait a moment, what's happening with the rogue though? The rogue is not attacking, bro. The rogue be like, nah. What? What? Okay, I was gonna leave it alone. I'm okay with wiping at 4%, but not because the rogue is... when the rogue is not doing stuff, it's not okay. We're gonna look at it again. I wasn't looking at the monitor, so I was yeah, distracted talking about unimportant things. But if the rogue was not attacking, I have an issue with that. That is not correct. What the warrior do? Whatever. Wait, what? What is with all this heroic striking? Like, they're being strange right now. Fuck. Ah, crap. I need to implement better GM commands so I can see the stats of the enemy, because it's possible maybe he has no armor. As unlikely as that may seem. I don't know, but because I don't know, what can I do? I need to implement better commands or stuff. Okay, let's see what the hell is going on. Is this guy... well, okay, let's assume that... yeah, because... yeah, let's set debug off. The rogue is not attacking, bruh. What the heck? But I fixed. Why? Why? This is not correct. Let me... What is happening? Stone form. What? What? No. Okay, we need to debug this. I don't understand. Okay, hold on, I'm debugging. Why is he not using anything? I'm debugging, that's why it's frozen. I'm looking at the code. I don't understand what is going on. No. No. Shiv. No. Why aren't you sinister striking? He says he can't do it. Okay, why? What do you mean you cannot do it? Like, what's the problem? Is not in range? What? What? What do you mean is not in range? Hold on, hold on, hold on. Why? But where is this range? It kind of looks like right where you're supposed to be. How could you not be in range here? Am I in range? I mean, you're in range to attack and like, look at this. Hell yeah, I'm in range. What do you mean I'm not in range? You can... This guy has a giant hitbox, dude. Like, look how far away I can attack him from. What do you mean you're not in range? Bro, you're tripping right now. Crap, how am I gonna fix this? Let's, fuck, I don't have GM commands. How fast can I... Let's... What? They killed them? Come on, man. I'm working here, you guys. Come here. You're fired. Let's respawn this. What do you mean I'm not in range? What sort of nonsense is that? Again, say... now he's in range. Like, really? Now he's in range? Okay, are you in range here? Now he's in range. Oh, never mind. I removed the range check. That's why he's in range. Wait, does that mean the range check is false? The range check is bad. Not the core range check. My range check is bad. Let's try that again. Let's see if he's doing it again. He's not doing it again. Make this guy invincible and this guy. So I ain't got time for this. So my range check is false. What's wrong with that? Well, I think I may need to debug this, and I don't want to keep you hanging in there for too long. I'll need to look into this. I'll do it after. Yeah, I'll just end the video and do it, and it should work for the next video, because I need to. Yeah, I need to go deep into this. It's not obvious why that is, but good thing we looked into this, honestly, because now it makes me think, what other situations is this busted in? Because I have no idea, but clearly without this check in my own code, it works just fine. So, and obviously the hitbox of the monster is gigantic, so there's absolutely no reason for why it should fail. So I don't know, I'll look into this, hopefully I'll fix it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.